You know, there's bad movies, and then there's hilariously bad movies. G20 opens in Budapest, Hungary, where a woman has arrived to deliver a crypto wallet to some terrorists. After not receiving her payment, she flees and henchmen give chase with their guns in broad daylight. This chase is intermingled with scenes at a location of extreme scum and villainy. The White House, where we're introduced to Madam President, Big Mike. She's cranky about being woken up in response to Avid being on the move. Her lack of care for the unknown woman confirms this isn't Avid, though. Back in Hungary, the woman ditches her coat and dives into a bar where Anthony Starr's Rutledge entraps her. How did he know to come here? Anyway, he poisons the woman and takes the crypto wallet that has a display screen on it. Why? Meanwhile, Mike's daughter is the reason why she was woken up in the first place. So the family argues about Avid sneaking out, who then mentions there are multiple holes in the White House's security as there are the plot. The next morning, Big Mike manhandles her personal bodyguard while training because she's a tough old army woman, and he's just a young former Marine. Okay. Afterwards, she talks with a pink pantsuit I'll call Hillary Hilton. So, Letitia James complains about being disrespected by other world leaders because she's a woman. 5 minutes in. Shortly after she holds a press conference revealing her plan to, and I'm not kidding here, give farmers in South Africa cryptocurrency to purchase seeds and plant more crops. Weird, I would have thought maybe hiring armed security or granting asylum status would be better than giving people digital money in the face of genocide. Or are retards going to argue the systematic murder of innocent people doesn't count now? Oh, how about I start pretending the farmers live in an open-air prison? Anyway, Jasmine Crockett's retarded plan is ignored for inquiries about her 17-year-old daughter getting caught drinking, and her reaction proves we dodged a bullet here in the United States when she gets emotional and cancels the press conference. People, you cannot pretend this character is tough when she gave BJ Pritzker's response when he sent his family to evil, tyrannical Florida for vacation while we were trapped in our homes during COVID here in Illinois. Anyway, the family travels to the G20 summit in South Africa the next morning, where conveniently the Kill the Boer chants have been removed from the audio. At that same time, Rutledge has arrived after requesting to help the security for the event. After his men take over and blow up the East Wing, where the security forces were stationed in a singular location, which was really convenient, they end up capturing most of the world leaders. In the chaos, LaMonica McIver, her bodyguard Manny, UK Prime Minister Joris Bonson, South Korean First Lady Min So, and the Italian head of the International Monetary Fund, Tifa Lockhart, hide away while a gunfight breaks out. Meanwhile, Jesse Jackson saves his kids and they sneak onto the roof of the hotel. However, communications have been cut, so only Rutledge's forces have control, and he broadcasts his actions to the world, urging people to withdraw their holdings from banks and invest in cryptocurrency. His belief is the decentralized investments will return power to the people and simultaneously diminish the corrupt governments. Rutledge also forces the world leaders to record audio to create deepfakes. These AI videos are shared around the world to further damage the reputation of the respective governments and leaders. Kind of redundant since they already do that on their own, but okay. After escaping down into a lower level, the group sneaks onto an elevator and eventually fight a few thugs in a scene that ain't terribly executed. I'll get to that a little later when I discuss the action. Anyway, the group sneaks into some service tunnels, accessing a kitchen where they free some of the staff in another goofy, albeit not terribly executed fight scene before some South African secret agents help out. The main group heads into the basement to locate the Beast. Meanwhile, on the roof, Cory Booker is captured by a traitor agent and the kids hide away. After the kids are nearly captured, the secret agents save them, while down in the basement, Terry Sewell is convinced to reveal her location after Timothy McVeigh over here beats the crap out of Ralph Warnock. This is where the group splits up again, as Manny is sent away with Tifa and Boris in The Beast, when Manny wakes up and makes them turn around, where they save Johanna Hayes from this traitorous agent. Then Angela Also Brooks picks up the rifle and concocts a plan to eliminate the terrorists. She's gonna go full girl boss when the lights are out, and all previous moments of believable struggle are thrown out the window as Latifah Simon here begins 360 no-scoping mercenaries left and right in the dark after she's already admitted she's not very good at firearms. Furthermore, she gets into a brawl with who looks like Steve Goldberg's dad and somehow wins. At this point, Tifa and Boris escape and somehow survive this crash after explosions toss them around like Eddie Hall does midgets. The two then communicate with the US government and bring the cavalry while Sydney Dove confronts Homelander. She records the audio he demands of her to save her husband, as he's as excited as Sam Bankman-Fried as the value of Bitcoin skyrockets to almost $2.5 million. You know what? Maybe he's right. I endorse this plan. Please, I'd love to be able to buy a house after the puppet Biden regime raped the American people. Anyway, the two biggest names in the movie argue and fight. Homelander shoots Al Sharpton, and in response, Min-So turns him into a knife block, stabbing him in the neck. After the scuffle, it turns out, unlike his former personal chef, Barack Obama is alive, and Hillary Hilton is revealed to have been the secret evil the entire time, because she picked up the crypto wallet and admitted to everything because it's all jealousy, as it was, quote, her time. You know what? G20 gets a thumbs up for this job. Anyway, somehow, in front of everyone, Homelander snuck away because apparently severing your carotid artery isn't a big deal. Sheila McCormick over here chases after him, and a final confrontation happens on the helipad where Rutledge falls to his death and Lucy Macbeth saves her daughter. Everyone is saved because everybody decides to rodeo lasso the falling helicopter, and everybody gets cleaned up afterwards. The next day, everyone signs on to Maxine Waters' plan, and the movie finally ends. Alright, I get it. Viola Davis is a good actress, but can we stop pushing her into action roles? Maybe if she was 20 years younger, but any of the fight scenes, she's got the movement and grace of a drunken paraplegic right now. I mean, even similar male action stars like Keanu Reeves look terrible, like they need Guts' berserker armor to hold themselves together, and she doesn't fare any better. As I mentioned, there are ridiculous scenes like her one-shotting a dozen mercenaries without sound or visual, but there are two scenes where I kind of believed what was happening and wish the movie leaned into it more. First, when they jump the guys in the elevator. While Manny is struggling with one of the dudes, she's about to get George Floyded until the others intervene. Okay? The second is her struggle with the ginger in the kitchen. She cannot overpower him, so she resorts to her wits, misdirecting him and using items in the kitchen to get the upper hand. Neither is perfectly executed, of course, the latter especially so, and both are overshadowed anyway by later ludicrous scenes, of course. If the movie had gradually built up Ayanna Pressley's confidence like this, I would have been far more inclined to side with the movie. But the writers couldn't resist the girl boss crap, so my immersion is completely destroyed due to the believable struggle at the start evaporating only a few scenes later. Now, the concerns around AI are legit. It's already been used to screw with the presidential election, and as technology improves, sooner or later AI will create complete video and audio recordings that are indistinguishable from reality. So Rutledge's attempt to blackmail world leaders isn't science fiction. It's very real and a valid concern, so again, thumbs up to the movie on this one. But of course, there's a laundry list of questions that went unanswered and break the narrative. If Rutledge wants to use Bitcoin to fund his little crusade, what was he thinking using crypto? For those who don't know, cryptocurrency uses the blockchain. Basically, it both tracks and prevents duplication of the crypto coin. Think of it like a serial number for most every coin on the market that is unique to the individual coin, even its parts. Wherever the coin or that portion goes can be traced all the way back to its creation. So for Rutledge to use Bitcoin to fund his schemes is like putting a digital bullseye on his back. And I can't necessarily even be mad at Rutledge because this is simply an issue of the writers being terrible because they didn't do the necessary research. And there are more, of course. Why give the farmers in South Africa cryptocurrency when they need security? Why didn't any of the patrons in the bar do anything when Rutledge forced himself onto the woman in public? If the president has an injured knee, why didn't that come into play? Why was there so little security for all of these world leaders? Why was that security also centralized in one wing of the building? I've got an entire page of questions that I just haven't gotten around to. So there you go, another hilariously bad movie that saw the sodomy that Dusty Biscuit went through in theaters and said, Nuh-uh, so it landed on Amazon Prime to avoid the negative press. Laughable action, unintentionally hilarious writing, all the while trying to ride on the back of an almost 60-year-old woman as the lead who looks like she'd rather star in a drama in a sundress than getting thrown around by stunt doubles. A retarded plan to somehow vilify cryptocurrency and the vilification of, I don't know, the corrupt governments of the world? And even though there are a couple little moments where I genuinely agreed with what the movie portrayed, it doesn't matter because it all went against it in the end. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.